Hi, good morning. This message is for those tithers. I call them tithers, referring to those people who still think. There are many of them, no doubt. I always know that. But I noticed there are some tithers who have the care enough to respond to my videos on my channel. And first of all, I appreciate what you do. You have a heart to convince others of your conviction. That is most important. In fact, when I say seeking truth, having this utter honesty is so important. And when I say blessed is the one who does not feel condemned in what he's doing, I'm not trying to be sarcastic or anything. In fact, that's exactly Paul's words to his believers. Each and every one of us has to come to our own conclusion. So for those tithers who commented on my channel, first of all, I appreciate your response. They give me a signal that to see what is happening on the ground. But there are two messages I want to share with you, tithers, especially sincere tithers. You truly believe tithe is from God, tithe is from Bible, and you are doing it. You are not like those other so-called mature Christians and pastors. Do you know some of them know that tithe is not from the Bible, but they anyway preach and practice it. Why? Because to them, the community, keeping the community intact, having the community mutual support and community comfort is more important than speaking up. To them, speaking up for the poor and speak truth is not as important as community. I think that's a big difference between me and those preachers, pastors. So to the tithers, especially for those of you who have sincerity and care to respond to my videos, I have these two things to share with you. Guys, you don't need to convince me tithe is the right thing. I myself had been tithing for 15 years religiously, and on top of my tithe, I give offerings. And when there are brothers, sisters in the church who are in need, I give them, secretly. Even to Joseph Prince, when he stopped taking salary, back then I was still thinking he's a godly man. On top of my tithe, I give him monthly, because I sincerely believe his gospel is a true gospel. I give him on top of my tithe. So you cannot say I didn't try, I didn't believe. I believe with all my heart and I practiced. What I came to realize now, it's not because I feel so much anger because I lost money. No, brothers, sisters, you are getting me wrong. I'm not doing this for myself. I am not doing this for myself. God has given me more than enough, You see my sharing, God has given me more than enough indeed for now. I don't need those 40,000, I mentioned in the video for my own sake. But if I get those money back, from Joseph Prince or New Christian Church, I will use it from this channel, and I will use it fully for the poor. So first thing, tithers, please listen to my message and don't try to persuade me that tithe is real, is right. You cannot put someone to sleep after he's awake. I'm trying to wake you guys up. So please, stop waking me up, because I know I'm awake. I know what I'm doing. That's the first thing. Second thing, I know to you, tithe is right. And roughly I know where you get it. You heard from your pastors, you heard so many testimonies, and you are repeating your pastor's words without realizing I mean, that is okay. I did that also for many years. But I just invite you to do this one search. To do this one search only. I said many times that people who respond to my video that, please mind your own business and all that. I'm okay with that. In fact, I don't mind you spend money or give money whatever way you want, but I invite you to consider this one thing, brothers, sisters. You have to consider how your tithing is affecting the very poor in your midst. If you sincerely believe tithe is from God, is for everyone, is a truth, you have to apply this tithe thing on the poor. When you tithe, when you believe tithe is a biblical thing, is a true thing, is a truth, you have to remember the test for truth is the truth has to be applicable to everyone. You sincerely examine the situation. Can this tithing truth be applied to the poor? If this poor soul, he is convinced that tithe is from God, yet he is not able to do it because he is struggling to get by with his current money, and if he is convinced that tithe, giving of 10% to God, is the right thing, I can tell you he cannot sleep, he cannot rest, he's not a happy person without really giving this 10% out. So you see, first, if we say tithe is a truth, that truth is putting the poor soul in a very difficult situation. Now, you may ask, truth hurts. Well, guys, truth hurts, but truth hurts the rich. Let truth hurts the rich pocket, not the poor one's pocket, brothers. Now, let's see, your tithe. If this brother recently began to see this example, you imagine your church. I mean, the church of God is a church for all nations, right? That's the truth. Can we agree on this truth? The church of God is a church for all nations, for all peoples. Now imagine a poor foreign worker who come into your midst. What do you expect him to do? You display a tithe envelope at your doorstep. What do you expect him to do? I mean, this poor worker, he has a heart, he has a mind, he wants to know. Suppose he's a new believer, he wants to find out more and everything about his newfound religion. Say he's from Bangladesh, let's do this thought experiment. Is he, the new believer from Bangladesh, able to integrate, to come in and go out in your midst with full dignity, happily? I can tell you, you just follow my thought experiment, he can't. First, he can't afford to tithe, if tithe is the truth. Second, he can't feel home in your church because if he doesn't tithe for practical concerns, his soul is not at rest. He don't feel the dignity. He don't feel part of your family. Now, tithers, this second consideration is so important. Church of God is a church for all nations, all races, all peoples, people of all walks, foreign workers, prostitutes, beggars, elderly, young, sick, healthy, rich, poor. You need to take a look of your church. Tithers. You tithe because you are sincere. You want to do the right thing to God and to others. So I plead with you to take a look of your church. Is your church really a place for everyone? Is this foreign worker or a prostitute or a beggar able to come to your church and feel that this is the house of God? I've come home. Or you take a look, how many in your church, is there any occasion such a one comes in? I dare say, many churches don't have even one. The church has become a place where that's, these clever preachers that preach to the middle class want to please God, or the tithe for other motives. But you look at the church, the population makeup of the church, there's no poor ones, no beggars come to the church. That's a sad reality. Guys, when I began to voice up this thing, I know I'm hitting a big target, because this is against all the churches, all the pastors who practice tithe. So tithers, stop convincing me that tithe is right, and start thinking along with me. Take a deeper look of how your tithe is affecting the poor. Remember how the tithe is affecting the poor, not the rich. As I say, how the rich spend his too much money is not my concern. So I invite you, I plead with you to think along with me. Do this thought experiment. See how your church tithing system is affecting the poor, and how your tithe is affecting the poor, and see how the poor is being treated in your church. I can tell you, God always has a special, He has a soft spot for the poor. Always, Old Testament, New Testament, He has always a soft spot for the poor. Whatever we do, we cannot injure the conscience. We cannot put the poor at a difficult situation. And this tithe practice is doing exactly that. Tithe practice injures the poor's conscience, putting them at a difficult situation, cunningly force them to give. That's robbing, guys. That's robbing. For you to get a full picture of what I'm saying or doing, you need to go into my channel and take a look. So tithers, if you still have a heart for the poor, and you still have a hunger for truth, and your conscience still good, you see this mad dog Daniel is doing something that is different from your pastors. I plead with you to take a look of my channel, see whether any message, any words will stir your heart a little bit. Guys, Bible clearly says there will be false teachers. There was false teachers already, but in the end time, especially, there will be false teachers. Yeah, I'm fighting against the false teachers. You need to join me, true believers. Thank you for hearing.